What if I told you that the closest thing we have to alien intelligence on Earth isn't in some remote jungle or hidden cave, but swimming in our oceans right now? An animal that can taste with its skin, change color faster than you can blink, and has not one, not three, but 9 brains. Oh, and its blood? Blue. Actually, blue. The octopus is so biologically bizarre that scientists studying it have literally said, this is probably what meeting an intelligent alien would be like. Stay with me for the next 12 minutes, because what you're about to learn will completely change how you see these creatures, and maybe even intelligence itself. And wait until you hear what happened when scientists gave an octopus ecstasy. Yes, really, that's coming up. Let's start with the most mind-bending fact. Octopuses have 9 brains. But here's what makes this absolutely crazy. 1 central brain in their head, and then 8 additional mini-brains, 1 in each arm. But these aren't just simple nerve clusters. Each arm literally has a mind of its own. Here's what I mean. If you cut off an octopus arm, which they can do voluntarily to escape predators, that arm will continue to crawl around, avoid obstacles, and even try to bring food to where the mouth used to be, for up to an hour. Think about that. A detached limb, acting with purpose, without being connected to the main brain. Scientists at Hebrew University actually tested this. They discovered that each arm contains about 40 million neurons. That's comparable to the entire brain of some mammals. 2/3 of an octopus's neurons are actually in its arms, not its head. But here's where it gets even stranger. These 9 brains don't always agree with each other. Researchers have watched octopuses where one arm is trying to solve a puzzle, while another arm is trying to do something completely different. It's like having 8 independent agents, all attached to one body, each with its own agenda, loosely coordinated by a central command. Dr. Dominic Civitilli, who studies octopus behavior, put it this way. Imagine if each of your arms could think for itself, could make decisions, and you had to negotiate with them to get anything done. That's an octopus's daily reality. But the 9 brains are just the beginning of their alien biology. Now let's talk about why their blood is blue. And no, it's not some camera trick or special lighting. You and I have red blood because of hemoglobin, an iron-based molecule that carries oxygen through our bodies. Iron oxidizes red, which is why our blood looks red. But octopuses, they use hemocyanin, a copper-based molecule, and copper oxidizes blue. Okay, cool visual, you might be thinking, but why does that matter? Here's why it's absolutely brilliant. Hemocyanin is actually more efficient than hemoglobin in cold, low-oxygen environments. The deep ocean where many octopuses live is cold and has less available oxygen than surface waters. Their blue blood is literally an evolutionary adaptation to thrive where we couldn't survive. But there's a catch. This copper-based blood is terrible at temperature regulation. This is why octopuses are incredibly sensitive to ocean temperature changes. Climate change is hitting them harder than almost any other marine species. A 2-degree temperature increase can be the difference between life and death. Oh, and speaking of their cardiovascular system, they have 3 hearts. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills, and 1 pumps it to the rest of the body. And here's a weird quirk. When an octopus swims, the heart that delivers blood to the body actually stops beating. This is why octopuses prefer to crawl rather than swim. Swimming exhausts them because they're literally losing circulation to their organs. But the weird biology is just setting the stage. Because what octopuses can do with these alien bodies will blow your mind. Here's where octopuses go from interesting animal to what is actually going on here. These are invertebrates, spineless mollusks. They're more closely related to snails and clams than to us. Our last common ancestor lived about 600 million years ago, before eyes, before brains as we know them, before most complex life. Yet octopuses are shockingly intelligent. They can open child-proof containers, solve mazes, use tools, recognize individual human faces, plan for the future, and they even play. There's a famous story from the New Zealand National Aquarium. They kept finding their octopus, named Inky, out of his tank in the morning, stealing crabs from other tanks, and then returning to his own tank before staff arrived. They set up cameras and caught him in the act, unscrewing his tank lid, crawling across the floor, raiding the crab tank, and then meticulously screwing his lid back on. Another octopus at the Santa Monica Pier Aquarium kept short-circuiting the lights in her tank by squirting water at them. When staff tried to stop her, she would wait until they left and then immediately do it again. They eventually had to release her because she was costing them too much in electrical repairs. Remember when I mentioned scientists giving an octopus ecstasy? Here's that story. Researchers at Johns Hopkins wanted to understand if octopus brains processed social bonding the same way mammal brains do. So they gave octopuses MDMA, the active ingredient in ecstasy, which makes humans more social and empathetic. The results? The normally solitary octopuses became incredibly social, hugging the walls of the tank and extending their arms out to researchers. One octopus even kept trying to hug another octopus, which never happens in the wild. This proved that despite 600 million years of separate evolution, octopuses have similar neurochemistry for social bonding as we do. Convergent evolution created similar brain systems in completely different lineages. But perhaps their most alien ability is their camouflage. Octopuses can change color, pattern, and texture in less than a second. They have specialized cells called chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores that allow them to match any background perfectly. Here's the kicker. Octopuses are colorblind. They can mimic colors they can't even see. Scientists now believe they can sense light directly through their skin, essentially seeing without their eyes.
So how did an animal this intelligent evolve from ancestors that were basically swimming rocks?
The answer is one of evolution's wildest success stories. About 275 million years ago, octopuses lost their external shells, the hard protective casing that most mollusks have. This was risky. Without armor, they became vulnerable prey for every predator in the ocean. But losing the shell gave them flexibility. They could squeeze into tiny spaces, change shape, move faster. To compensate for the loss of physical protection, they evolved big brains and advanced camouflage instead. It's the same evolutionary pressure that made primates smart. Vulnerability drove intelligence. But here's what makes octopus intelligence truly alien. It evolved completely independently from vertebrate intelligence. We got smart one way, through centralized processing, long-term memory, social learning. They got smart a completely different way, through distributed intelligence, problem-solving through touch, and largely solitary learning. Dr. Peter Godfrey Smith, a philosopher and octopus researcher, literally wrote a book called Other Minds about this. He argues that studying octopuses is the closest we can get to knowing what it would be like to encounter an intelligent alien species. Because if intelligence can evolve this differently on one planet, imagine how different it could be on another.
But for all their intelligence, octopuses have one tragic flaw.
They die young. Most octopus species live only 1 to 2 years. The giant Pacific octopus, the largest species, lives about 3 to 5 years maximum, and they die immediately after reproducing. Female octopuses stop eating after laying eggs and literally waste away guarding them. Scientists have discovered this is triggered by their optic gland, which releases hormones that essentially program them to die. If you surgically remove this gland, female octopuses can live months longer. Think about what this means. An octopus with the intelligence of a dog lives less time than a hamster. Imagine if octopuses lived 50 years like parrots, 80 years like humans. Would they develop culture, technology? What could an octopus accomplish with decades to learn instead of months? And here's a mystery that still haunts researchers. Octopuses don't teach their young. Every octopus learns everything from scratch, They have massive intelligence, but no way to pass knowledge between generations. Each one is inventing the wheel on their own. What could they become if they could?
So let's recap what makes octopuses the closest thing to aliens on Earth. 9 independent brains that sometimes disagree with each other. Blue, copper-based blood with 3 hearts. Intelligence that evolved on a completely separate path from ours. The ability to taste and see with their skin. Problem-solving abilities that rival mammals. And a tragic lifespan that ends just as they're getting truly wise. These creatures prove that intelligence isn't one thing. It's not even a linear path. It can emerge in radically different forms, using completely different biological systems, solving completely different evolutionary problems. When we finally meet intelligent aliens, if we ever do, they probably won't think like us. They might not even have centralized brains. They might have 9 or 90. The octopus is a reminder that we share this planet with truly alien minds. We just have to look underwater to find them. If this video changed how you see octopuses, or intelligence itself, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the strangest science our planet has to offer. Drop a comment and tell me, if octopuses lived as long as humans, do you think they'd eventually develop civilization? Could they use tools underwater? Would they even want to? Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you're looking for aliens, try looking in the ocean. They've been here all along. Subscribe for more mind-blown science.